She left her 2 children alone in a truck with a man she had just met at a bar, and when she returned, they were gone. So on July 31st, 1981, Vickie and Michael were at the Silver Saddle Bar in Parker, Arizona, when they were joined by a man that was said his name was Don Donovan and nickname was Panama Red. They hung out drinking most of the afternoon. By 7 p.m., Vickie said she needed to head back home because the babysitter had to leave. Their children were 5-month-old Michele and 5-year-old Michael Jr. But neither Michael nor Vickie wanted to call it a night, so Panama Red offered to give Vickie a ride home, get the kids, bring them back to the bar. So after they picked up the kids, Vickie and Panama made a pit stop at the Turtle Barn for some drinks. They left the kids inside the truck, and that's when Michael Jr. found a .22 caliber rifle Panama had on the floor of his truck and started pointing it at people in the parking lot. A stranger saw it and confiscated it from him. When Panama and Vickie returned, Michael Jr. explained what had happened. Panama lost it, yelling and screaming, and Vickie fled in fear, leaving her kids behind in the pickup truck. Well, Panama chased her down and convinced her to return to the truck. She did, and they drove back to the Silver Saddle, leaving the kids in the truck once again in the parking lot and explaining to Michael about the theft. They all agreed that it should be reported to the police. So, Panama and Vickie left the Silver Saddle and headed over to the police station. Panama waited in the truck while Vickie went inside to report the theft of the .22 caliber gun. When she returned, Panama and the kids were gone. Thinking they just returned back to the bar, she had a police officer drive her to the bar, but when they showed up, they weren't there. They described Panama to the police, and a search for Michele and Michael began. The situation wasn't just a normal kidnapping case, though, because there was much urgency because 5-month-old Michele had a medical condition that prevented her from consuming milk without a special formula in it, and without her formula, she could become really sick because the condition was so bad. And around 10:30 that night, Michael Jr. was discovered walking on a road, alone and distressed. When police questioned him, he said Panama had dropped him off and promised to return shortly. When he didn't return, he started walking. He said he drove off with his little sister and remembers her crying, but the Panama had been pretty nice to him. With the new evidence, an official kidnapping manhunt was initiated, including 4 regional police offices, and the FBI got involved. While working on the investigation, it was discovered that Michael and Vickie had been given a fake name by him, and that everybody that he had, Don Donovan, or aka Panama Red, had spoken to, he had not disclosed any personal information. Then, on August 10th, a San Bernardino County, California man was on his way to the dump at Black Meadow Landing when he noticed on the side of the road an infant's child seat. As he got out to look at it, he smelled a horrible smell, and then that's when he discovered in the brush the badly decomposed body of Michele. The examination of her body revealed she had suffered immense pain and torture before her death. She had a bruise above her left eye, inflicted when she was still alive, a fractured collarbone, 3 broken ribs on her left side, tears observed on the skin around her left nipple and armpit. Her upper arm was fractured near the elbow. The autopsy revealed even more terrible details. She had a long incision stretching from her ribs to her groin, with her uterus being removed from that opening. 2 small incisions found over her left groin and an oval slice between her legs where her vagina and anus were removed. This discovery changed the case from a kidnapping to a murder, and a few days later, they found and arrested 19-year-old Brett Pensinger in Midland, Texas. His family had reported that he may be the suspect after he matched the description and the truck matched the uncle's truck that had been stolen. Now, when Brett was arrested, he still had blood stains on his pants, belt, and boots, but they were not compared to or matched to Michele's blood, and there was also blood found on the inside of the pickup truck, and he claimed it was his own blood. In September, he was extradited to California and charged with first-degree murder. His trial began on July 7th, 1982, and his defense argued that Brett was innocent and Vickie had killed her own daughter, revealing to the courts that at the time of the murder, she was actually pregnant with her 3rd child, yet had spent the entire day drinking, also mentioning both Michael and Vickie didn't work and financially could not afford kids. Her mother even said that she didn't like the kids. Then the prosecution presented 3 inmates that had been in the same cell with Brett and testified that he had admitted to killing Michele. He said they had been drinking all day. When she walked into the police station, it dawned on him that the truck he was driving was stolen and that he would get arrested, so he took off. Then he said he drove around for a while, wasn't sure what to do, but Michele started crying, so he punched her in the ribs. When that didn't work, he threw her around the car a bit. He said then when he pulled over to take a pee, Michael Jr. jumped out of the truck and ran away. He then said he tried to have Michele orally please him, but when she couldn't, he cut her stomach open and cut her private parts out. He later admitted to driving her to the dump and disposing of her body. The jury found Brett guilty of first-degree murder and deliberated for 12 hours before deciding he should also be sentenced to the death penalty, stating that this man is a danger to society. In May 2019, 56-year-old Brett Pensinger died of natural causes on San Quentin's death row.